Just because I let it slide doesn't mean it isn't pulling on my heart till it's almost white. 'Cause I wanna let you feel strong.
Power bill through the roof? At 320 Solar, that power bill will be no more. In fact, about 90% of our customers report lower solar payments than with electricity. That's more power in your pocket. 320 Solar. Power up.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
We suck again!
Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. Welcome to What's Cooking in the South. And we know what's not cooking. We know what's not cooking, and that's the Buccaneers offense. Oof, it is brutal. It's brutal, it's brutal, it's brutal. Look, this offense is not designed for this quarterback. That's what this comes down to. Now, I've been steaming all day about this, and I'm trying to stay relatively calm. But the bottom line is this. This offense is not designed for this quarterback. Brady is not a bombs away type of quarterback. Brady's not no risk it, no biscuit is one thing, but it's when all you do is risk it. When you just abandon the running game, and then somebody please explain to me how you can keep running play action passes when you don't run the ball. It makes no sense. What in the world are you thinking running play action passes when you haven't run the ball? I mean, do you really think the defense is going to bite? I don't know. There's so much that's such a mess from this game. I mean, you can't just throw deep, man. no rub routes, no crossing patterns, no option routes. They used motion 6 times the entire game. I'm going to say that again. They only used motion offensively 6 times the entire game. That's just, it's just amazing to me. No, barely using screens. And then you bring in Fournette, who hasn't played in 3 weeks, throw the ball to him a couple of times. He drops them, which he's usually got sure hands. Now he's dropping the ball. I mean, I don't get what I just don't get this. I don't understand what's happening. Good coaching. I believe you position your players for success. And this coaching is not doing that at all. It makes no sense what they're doing. I mean, 4th and 1, and you're trying to get really cute with your passing. Ask Pete Carroll how that works. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Especially when the week before you have a running back who runs for 192 yards, including a 98-yard burst. This makes no sense what this team is doing. Listen to this statistic, guys. Tom Brady is 2 for 30 on passes of over 20 yards in the last 2 games. Now, I'm going to say this statistic again. I want you to think about this. Tom Brady is 2 for 30 on passes over 20 yards in the last 2 games. Now, you might say 2 for 30, that's horrible. That's such a low percentage. That's not all I want you to wrap your mind around. Tom Brady threw 30 passes over 20 yards in the last 2 games. Just that number by itself is staggering. Now, he was leading the league in this statistic early in the year when they had a running game. 2 for 30 on passes over 20 yards in the last 2 games. Now, do you remember a few games ago when they abandoned the running game against the Saints? And we're going to talk about that here shortly with Blake Ruffino. Do you remember Bruce Arians gave the reason that, well, it was because we were down by 21 so quickly. Well, this game you weren't down by 21. As a matter of fact, in the 4th quarter, for some reason, and I can't explain this, on one drive, the Buccaneers decided to all of a sudden run the ball again. And guess what happened? They scored the tying touchdown. And then they went back again to not running the ball at all. It makes no sense. I don't get it. You have a great quarterback and you have a very good coach, although his coaching this year, and even a little last year, you can call some things into question. But he's turned the culture around. I'm not sitting here. If you're going to call up and say fire Arians, don't bother. All right, but if you have a good coach and you have a good quarterback and you have this crap, I mean, you cannot be scoring 3 points or just letting people shut you down repeatedly. I mean, with this offense and this kind of talent, what the heck is going on? Now, before I completely lose my mind, I want to bring Blake Ruffino on here because maybe he can keep me from jumping. I'm like, Blake, help.
What's up, Rick?
Oh, my gosh. What is this crap that the Buccaneers are doing?
You know, honestly, Rick, I like to look at statistics when the Saints bring in a player like Todd Montgomery and Jameis Winston. And when I look at Jameis Winston, for an example, 2 seasons ago, going 7-9, I know that's the record, but 7%, Rick, of the dropbacks that he had on 600-plus attempts, he was getting sacked. I haven't seen a difference on the offensive line for the Bucs that would make a change. I think that they're trying to, throw these deep bombs that's not built for Tom Brady. Look, you have Jones and Leonard Fournette. Why are you not handing the ball off more? I don't understand it. I quite honestly, and this isn't coming from me as a Saints fan, and I don't mean to throw shade or anything like that. Seriously, I don't.
Oh, no. You know what, Blake? Let me tell you, you're in What's Cooking in the South. By all means, if you want to throw the shade, first of all, you earned it. But second of all, you're in the place to do it.
Well, I appreciate that, but I just and then look, I'm wearing an LSU shirt, so obviously it's I want to see Leonard get his touches, but you have two really good backs that can take the pressure off of Tom, and they're not doing that right now. I feel like they feel as if they have too many mouths to feed at times, and honestly, Bruce Arians, it just feels like that it is really risk it or no biscuit, and so Sean Payton has perfected. And last week's game showed that he has perfected the dump off passing and getting small yards for third and manageable. And that's what Taysom Hill did a lot last week, and he does it a lot with Drew. Look, there is nothing as a former collegiate offensive lineman, there is nothing, Rick, that helps us out more than a quick dump off pass, and I can get in space and do work. Nothing.
And they were successful when they did it early in the game. I mean, they were leading the game, or they were, right in when they were throwing the little quick 6-yard, cross slant, whatever, and when they were doing this at the beginning of the game, they were successful. And when they ran the ball, they were pretty successful. And get this, if you look at the stat sheet, guess who's not even on the stat sheet defensively for the Rams?
I would say maybe Ramsey. Is Ramsey not on the
No, he's on the stat sheet for passes, defense, and things like that.
I'm
no tackles, no sacks.
Oh,
no
Aaron Donald.
Let me say it again. No tackles. No sacks.
And you lose.
And Evans had a good game being covered by Ramsey.
Yeah, that's tough. When I looked at it, because my show goes from 7 and 8, so I was a little bit behind. But even Tom going 26 of 48, what is a 43, 42-year-old quarterback doing throwing the ball 48 times a game? And it's not like the Rams were blowing you out offensively,
right? Because
you turn it around and Jared Goff, he throws it for 51, but it's not like the points that they were just lighting it up. And look, they didn't run the ball either. Rick, let me ask you this too. I guess this is the interviewer and me, but just asking you, do you feel like Bruce Arians calls games kind of like how his opponent or the opponent coaching staff does it? Because I feel like if you look at the Saints games, statistically maybe not running, but passing, they're going to be close to what Drew and Sean does. And I feel like he's trying to go blow for blow when he has no business in doing so. I don't know.
I have no explanation. And I think you're look, I can say this. I believe that Bruce Arians has been critical in changing the culture in Tampa. But I've seen just horrible game planning and coaching coming from him. And I've seen bad clock management. I've seen not knowing when to throw a challenge flag. What are you doing on some of these 4th down calls or 3rd down calls? I don't get it.
You see this a lot, Rick, when you talk about statistical anomalies, right? That you should have probably won this game, but you got outgained by a lot. You couldn't run the ball. And look, when I always say this, because I talked about LSU, everyone said, well, LSU couldn't run the ball this year. That's bullcrap, because you can't have a guy like Leonard Fournette get 1 carry out, 1 carry out, 1 carry out. He has 7 total carries. Look, as a guy who's covered Leonard Fournette for 7 years, you have to give him the football. When he was his most successful in Jacksonville in the playoffs against Pittsburgh, they gave him the rock. And you could do to Jones too. I wish I had the answers. That's probably why I'm not getting paid millions to coach, but I just don't.
I said all week long last week, I said a 0-yard run is not necessarily a failure.
Correct.
Okay. You're setting up things. You're setting up things like the play action pass. You're setting up plays. You're keeping the defense honest. You're doing things that you can't just say, okay, we ran the ball twice. Okay. The first 3 runs, we had 4 yards each. The next 2 runs, we had 0. Let's just not run anymore. You just can't do that and then continue to try to run the play action pass.
Yeah.
I mean, it just look. I'm you know football better than I know football,
I don't
and
know.
I know you can't do that. Okay.
Well, and I tell you, it's really good from your offensive line too, Rick. When you're unable to run the football and you do go play action, that is the hardest thing for an offensive lineman to do. There's nothing harder, in football on an offensive line's perspective
Yeah.
in doing that. And hey, you gave up a sack.
Yeah.
Like you
But
mentioned
they
earlier,
gave up one sack the whole game against the
I know.
Rams. One.
And Aaron
I mean,
Donald doesn't show up. I
no.
mean,
He's literally
that-
not on the stat sheet.
yeah. Well, and that goes to show me too, and to tell me too that you got to give your guys in the backfield a little bit more carries. You got to be a little bit more creative. Look, put Antonio Brown in space, see what he can do. I mean, I remember him taking quick screens, and I remember the game against the Browns where he kicked somebody in the face, trying to hurl them. I mean, get him in space.
Yep.
I just don't know. But I thought it's funny. I thought even though the Buccaneers defense gave up a lot of yards, they didn't break. It was like a bend and don't break, which I was really impressed by. From a Saints perspective, though, Rick, I'll tell you this: we have a little bit of sigh of relief because you have a 2-game lead in the South. Because I definitely wouldn't want to see them again, and you have Carolina and the Falcons again. So. So I mean, it's a little bit of a sigh of relief for sure.
Yeah. Will you? Just before you get going, and I know you have to run. Talk to me about about what the Saints did this week. Talk to me about the Saints Falcons game. Give us sort of your overview, your blow by blow of what you saw in that game.
Well, look, Rick, we talked all week that we thought that Jameis may get the nod. But then, around Tuesday, Wednesday of last week, we heard that Taysom was taking all the first team reps. I thought it was Sean Payton being petty. Honestly, I thought he was just saying that to throw off the Falcons, but he wasn't. I thought Taysom did a really good job going 18 of 23 on the passing attempts. He hit the long bomb, even though it looked like a duck. Hey, it doesn't matter. If it's a reception and it's over 40 plus yards, it's a big play. He was able to run the football. And the Saints, quite honestly, in my opinion, if they don't have the best offensive line in the NFL, they have a top 2, top 3 offensive line. They're able to run the football with Alvin Kamara and Latavius Murray. They get their players in space. And look, Taysom didn't do anything that shocking. He threw it to Mike Thomas. That's all he did. Was he threw it to Mike Thomas, put it in his general area, and he said, "Hey, Mike, go make a play." And I'm just going to throw it in your general area. And they ran the ball. Now, and Rick, I was in the beginning of the season, I looked like a complete dummy. I said that this Saints defense would be a top 5 defense in the NFL. The first couple of weeks, I looked horrible for saying that, but they have shown that they're a top 5 defense, and so it has been it's been really good to see this defense take another step forward. Quan Alexander, and look, again, another LSU guy, and I know he was with the Bucs, might be the best trade deadline steal that the Saints have ever had, ever, because the Saints don't. Oh yeah, Mike's muted.
Sorry about that. Just wait on that.
Well, I think, and this is just me, I think that Quan was never built to be an outside linebacker ever. I mean, a middle linebacker ever. When you put him in the middle, he is going to get absolutely eaten alive by guards. He's a smaller linebacker, and you got to put him in space. And honestly, they put him in the rover position this past Sunday, and they said, go make plays. I think that they're using him a little bit better, but you saw in the running game, he got pushed around a little bit. So we'll have to see. But I think that this defense has really turned it on, Rick.
I agree with that. I'm not as much of a Quan guy in the sense that I've just seen him. I've seen him get run over. I've seen him over pursue. Listen, I've also seen him have good games. So I would say don't bite too hard on one game yet. Just relax on that one a little bit and just wait. Maybe you're right. Just wait. But the defense, your defense, I believe, and this is what I said about the game. My takeaway from this game, was not Taysom Hill. My takeaway was your defense embarrassed Tom Brady and then embarrassed Matty Ice and from Atlanta. And I mean, didn't just beat him, embarrassed him. So that to me is the takeaway from the Saints. And let me tell you something, if the defense becomes the story in New Orleans, it's going to be a whole different animal in the playoffs.
Well, with an aging Drew Brees too.
Yeah.
8 sacks. You can't double or chip Cam Jordan anymore because Trey Hendrickson leads the NFL in sacks. So you have to start, really not putting him on an island with an offensive tackle and chipping him. And here's another problem. Marcus Davenport is also in the game. You can't leave him one-on-one. So they've been really good. The one thing that I think that this defense lacked was just focus. And I know that sounds crazy from NFL guys, but they've only given up 1 touchdown in the last 3 weeks. 1 touchdown. If they would have to only give up 2 touchdowns, and that would be a Saints record for that time span.
Yeah.
So it's really good to see, especially when you talk about the Aints from all those seasons ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Blake, I know you got to run, and I don't want to keep any longer. Please tell people where they can find you.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Yep, AYS Sports on Twitter. You can follow us on all of our shows. We won't be doing it Thursday and Friday because of Thanksgiving. I appreciate all of you guys having me on, but you can follow us on Facebook at our AYS Network. And we have a lot of shows that are coming on, former LSU pitchers, MLB guys, NFL guys that will be joining our team. So we appreciate everybody for coming and liking the page, and we appreciate you guys having us on.
Let me tell you something, Blake. I've been saying, and I know you can talk to the boss. I've been saying, get Blake on here, get Blake on here, get Blake on here. Since day one, I've wanted you on this show. I absolutely. I mean, I love it when I've seen you on Peter's show, and anytime you want to come back, please do it.
I appreciate it. And the only reason I'm not as animated tonight, Rick, is because, one, I have a little man sleeping right next to it, and the Saints and LSU won, so I don't have a lot to get mad about. So.
All right, brother. You have a wonderful night.
You too, man.
That's Blake Ruffino from Are You Serious Sports. Okay, now we're going to bring in Jacob Charnow. Jacob, happy to have you back, brother.
Of course.
And the show gets smarter. Okay, so all right, let me bring Matt Colson in here. Matt's been trying to call. Matt,
Sure.
Sorry I couldn't take your call right at that moment. How you doing, brother?
I'm here, man. I was filming myself for your show. I couldn't call in last night. I didn't have the guts, and I wasn't very happy with the results. So I just wanted to ask you why, and you started on your rant earlier, Brady threw 3 or 4 bombs, and he threw them 10 yards long. Now, one I could say it was supposed to be one. The receiver might have thought it was the back shoulder, and he thought it was supposed to be a lead pass or whatever. But it was consistent.
Well, I think he was just getting rid of the ball to keep from getting hit. I mean, he didn't have the time. The timing was off. Everything was off because he really didn't have the time. And I mean, while he didn't get sacked much, he got pressured a lot, and he almost got sacked, and he got hit. So, I mean, he just didn't have the time to settle back in the pocket. And part of the reason is the defense was not the least bit concerned about stopping the run. I mean, the Buccaneers just completely abandoned the run. I mean, it blows my mind. Listen, and I want to be clear about this, Matt.
All over his hands.
Yeah, well, I want to be clear about this. People that are second guessing coaching all the time. To me, it's easy and it's lazy to blame the coaches and to call for the second string quarterback. And everybody does it. It's so simple. Everybody thinks the second string quarterback is the best quarterback, and you ought to fire the coach, forget about who you're going to replace him with. I mean, there are things. This is a different situation, and Arians deserves the criticism, the critical comments that are being made. I mean, there are things that this team can do that'll put Brady in a better position, and they just refuse to do it. And I don't understand. They refuse to run the ball. Now,
Yeah, that
If
doesn't make any sense. But
it none at all. And let me tell you, if Brady is changing the play call at the line of scrimmage constantly to go deep, somebody needs to rein him in, and that would fall on the coaches. And if they're not doing that, that's on the coaches. If it's Byron Leftwich making these calls, Bruce Arians needs to step up and either take over the play calling or do something to change the situation as it is. The bottom line, this all ultimately falls on Arians. There's no excuses. I don't want to hear any more crap about it. This all comes down to Arians. Okay, you've got the GOAT, you've got the best quarterback in the history of the NFL, and you're running an offense. Some weeks, not every week, some weeks, they just run a completely different offense that he's not wired to best play. And they need to just stop trying to make him fit into this offense. Listen, they only put players in motion 6 times out of 67 plays. They have all of this speed on this team.
Impressive.
They have all this speed on this team, right? All this way to keep the defense on their heels and to make the defense unsure. And only 6 times the entire game, 6 out of 67 plays, did they put a player in motion. I mean, they're literally making it easy to play defense against them. And and then to say, well, you can't be critical of the coaches. BS, you can't be critical of the coaches and say this was a great game call. Are you freaking kidding me? When you completely abandon the run, and if you say Brady is changing the calls at the line, do your freaking job as a coach and rein that crap in. I just don't want to hear it anymore.
Well, to be honest,
And you know what, Matt? I have made a mistake here. Matt, I've made a mistake here, and I've got to apologize for this. I'm so ticked off. I'm so mad. I've made a mistake here. What'd you have for dinner?
Oh, I was going to tell you. Tonight I had, this is in Oklahoma night. I guess I just had regular old pinto beans and some cornbread, but I made the cornbread.
Well, listen to you. You're making it sound like that's no big deal. Homemade cornbread and pinto beans. That works.
Yeah, for a single guy, I have to make things kind of weird. You can't cook when you only have one person in the house. There's not a recipe on Pinterest or anywhere else that you can go to.
Nah, you do. I'm a single guy. I make it and freeze it. Yeah, I make stuff and freeze it, and I've got it for like days to come. Yeah, that's my thing. Jacob, what'd you have for dinner?
What did I have for dinner? What it's always been. I've been on like a strict diet lately, so it's a lot of just chicken and vegetables. Tonight, some grilled chicken, some hot sauce. I was preparing for my show, so I couldn't really do.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, that works. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Definitely not.
That works real well.
I had a cheesy taco skillet that I made, and I'll put the recipe up here shortly. So that was very good. And we'll also actually we're gonna put that on the Bucks Report Facebook story and on the page a little bit later.
Rick, you need a cookbook, my man.
Working on it, brother.
Stuff up there that I gave you the other night.
What's that?
You're not going to put up the grouper recipe I gave you the other night?
You didn't send it to me. You got to send it to me.
I'll send it to you. Keith kind of shot it down.
Well, listen, we're making fun of it. Yeah, Matt, of course we're making fun of it. You're walking along the Skyway Bridge. You run into Pam Anderson's boyfriend. Who tells you to put mayonnaise? Who tells you to put mayonnaise? Blue ribbon mayonnaise and
he didn't tell me. He asked me to come over for dinner because we were socializing, and that's when he made it.
Right. Okay. Right. Gave you blue ribbon mayonnaise, Jif, whatever it is, Jif crunchy peanut butter rubbed on grouper.
Right. The one with the blue top.
Yeah. Thank you, Jacob. And so, yeah, you have to send me this. I'm not responsible for anybody who gets sick from this, but yeah, you've got to send me the recipe, and yeah.
Can you get Jamaican jerk seasoning up there in the Carolinas? I don't know.
Of course you can, man. You can get it anywhere. Jamaican jerk seasoning.
Right. Well, that's the key to it all.
Okay.
It sounds like it shouldn't go together.
Yeah. Really?
It just does not. It doesn't make sense on paper, but when you do it and you just go after it, it's kind of like one of those things you don't know you can do it till you do it. But yeah, it was the best thing I ever had. To this day, it was 20 years
It's
ago.
the reverse Cowboys.
What? I don't even know what it is. Oh man. So let's see. What are our comments we got here? Tim Weatherspoon. I don't think primetime has anything to do with it. Those primetime games we lost and almost lost was because of bad offensive line play and bad players and bad play calling. Well, I don't know that the offensive line was bad.
Badly. How did we not get 99 or whatever?
Well, yeah, I don't think the offensive line played bad. I don't. I just don't think they were given a chance to play good because we just completely abandoned the run. The defense can just pin their ears back. So Constance,
that's true.
Yeah, Connie says Buccaneers clinging to a playoff spot. I think they're in a little better shape than clinging to a playoff spot. I think they're solidly.
I mean, if they lose next week,
they don't have room to have one more loss. We're going to get beat next week, and we're already behind. We should have never lost to the last two games. We should have.
Yeah, after next week they'll be clinging. After next week they'll be clinging.
Listen. Weirder things have happened in the NFL this year than the Bucks. Than counting the Bucks out of this game already. Like,
agreed.
I'm not saying they're gonna win. I'm just like it's to already be saying that like they're gonna lose it's just you can't assume anything. I mean,
right.
The Cowboys just beat the Vikings.
Are we playing in Kansas City or are we playing in Tampa?
Tampa.
It's in Tampa.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the thing is this.
Before 7 o'clock?
Yeah. Yes.
Is it a 4 o'clock game?
I think it's
we
1
can
o'clock.
win 4 o'clock.
Yeah, I think it might be 1 o'clock.
We can't wear the dark jerseys. We can't wear the dark jerseys.
They put this game on at 1?
I think so. I think I might be wrong, but I don't know. Somebody will put that up there.
0-2 I think they're 0-2 in the pewter jerseys. So they need to hang them up, bring out some orange. That's just crazy.
Orange, yeah.
Put on the practice jerseys.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah.
That's what I think.
Man, it's just terrible.
Me,
Oh man, it's just terrible. I mean, who is to? This is a good question. Who is to blame? Is it Byron or Brady? I don't know. I mean, both.
Yeah.
Byron should have the ability to tell Brady, "Shut up and do what I told you to."
Well, yeah, but
right?
Arians should have that same thing. You know, I mean, this all comes down to Arians. I mean, he's the guy in charge. This all comes down to Arians. If it's Brady changing the call, that falls on Arians. All right, for giving him that ability to do it that easily. If this is Leftwich, I don't even have words for how bad.
You know, I think that there's blame to go around with everybody because Brady's not. It's not like Brady's making these like ridiculously accurate throws and they're just like bad plays. Like there is a lot of bad play calling, but the throws that Brady needs to make, he's not really making them.
Well, agreed. But again, 30 passes in the last 2 weeks over 20 yards.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's insane. Christopher Cole says BA said that Brady was picking his plays on the sidelines. You can't believe everything he says. That's exactly correct, Christopher. You can't believe everything he says. I mean, you just cannot. Remember, this is a guy who said that that LaShawn McCoy was all they needed. Now they were good at running back. This is a guy who said he'd never have AB on the team. This is a guy. This guy says a lot. This guy says
who said
he was perfectly happy with Jameis Winston and could win a Super Bowl with him.
No, this was the guy who said that Tom Brady had no influence in Antonio Brown coming to Tampa.
Right. Yeah. He said Tom Brady had no influence on Brown coming. I mean, I just don't get it. I mean, this is correct. We didn't feed Evans enough from medium range passes. Look, the 6-yard passes, slants across the middle, rub routes, things like that. I just don't know what the heck they're doing. I just don't get it. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, it's just so poorly handled that I don't even have words. I just don't even have words.
Yeah.
It's awful. It's just been absolutely awful. Okay. The game's it is a 4 o'clock game.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Harry. Thank you, Tim.
It's probably game of the week.
Yeah. Probably America's game of the week. Yeah. That would make sense. But
and that means we'll lose.
And this is something
We'll be in
Dylan
semi-prime
has a
time.
comment here. Dylan has a comment here that I think is very, very true, and I want to talk about it. Dylan says, BA never takes any responsibility after these clunkers. Game after game, it's never on the coaches. And that's true, and this is something that bothers me about him, is he will throw his players under the bus, and this is something that he's known for in his past jobs. He will throw his players under the bus. He won't take responsibility. I mean, this is a guy who doesn't know how to say, "Oop, I screwed up," or "Yeah, this was wrong, this was bad." He just doesn't do it. I mean, he might throw that one sentence in while he's doing, throwing the players under the bus and all of that. So I don't know. Tim says BA didn't say Tom picks his own plays at the line. He said he picks his plays on the sideline from their game plan. Right? Really? Does that mean on the sideline from their game plan? He picks the.
No matter
If
what
the
it is,
guy refuses, if this is Brady picking his plays and he refuses to pick running plays, you need to stop giving him the ability to pick his plays. That falls on the coaches.
So you're telling me that Brady's picking 30 deep passes in the last however long?
Apparently, that's what that's what BA was intimating. He didn't flat out say it. That's what he was intimating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's not possible. That's just ridiculous. And Don Shula wouldn't let Marino pick his own plays. He gave him a set of plays, and they had a switch off.
Right. Well,
an audible. But
was
it was always
Belichick
Shula saying, "This is what we're going to do." And I can't believe that Brady's going to be given that kind of freedom, if you want to call it that.
Well, I can because Peyton Manning had that kind of freedom. I can see that, but if he's not, if your quarterback is picking the plays and you break the NFL record for fewest rushes in a game ever, he no longer has the ability to pick his plays.
Where was Peyton picking his own plays? Denver?
No, he was basically the offensive coordinator.
Okay,
in many ways.
His right hand man there was Adam Gase, so I figured that it was better that Peyton was doing it. But
he basically was the offensive coordinator,
right?
I mean, Gase was along for the ride, but sure,
yeah.
And let's see, and just look at the roster. This is one of the most talented offenses ever to take the field as a whole, and it comes down to coaches not playing to their strengths. Amen. Hallelujah. Dylan, that's exactly what I've been freaking saying. I've got it written on my notes here. That's exactly what I said, Dylan. You could not have put that more correctly.
Rick, you got a nice little soundboard over there. I like that. A lot of sounds going on. You have so many. Every time I think you're out, there's always another.
Yeah, there's always something new.
Rick, what do you think about the idea? What do you think about the idea that this is a situation where they've got too many players that they need to?
Yeah, that they're trying to feed too many mouths.
Too many babies.
Yeah.
You can't keep Godwin happy if you're going to throw them all to AB, and you can't keep AB happy and make Mike Evans happy. I don't
believe Tom Brady is sitting there saying, I'm going to have to throw it to these guys to keep them happy. I just don't believe that's Tom Brady's.
No, because he's throwing the ball to Cameron Brate.
He threw that looked like Jameis was back there.
Well, yeah, but I believe that
a little 5-yard slant that he threw at the guy's knees, and two defenders were right there. And for some reason, it came through and all the way to the receiver. I can't remember who the guy was that caught it. I think it was AB. I was looking at it from my couch, and I'm staring at the TV, and I'm like, he just threw an interception because the middle linebacker whiffed on it, and the safety or the cornerback, whoever was on the receiver, they were right on it. And he threw that ball.
Yeah, but there
was no way that ball should have got through there.
That's still, you say that, but I hear that. I hear you, but I think how many plays over the years have you seen Brady throw something and been like, how the heck did he do that? Threading the needle and things like that. So I don't know.
How many years has he had 8 interceptions by this time of the year?
9. I think it's 9.
He's having a bad year.
Well, every quarterback who has had BA as their head coach, Manning, Roethlisberger, Carson Palmer, Andrew Luck, they've all had more interceptions in their first year with Arians. Every single one of them. Carson Palmer, before this year started, said Tom Brady's going to have more interceptions than he's ever had this year, because it takes a year.
So we
So
don't have a year. They're not going to play the Super Bowl in Tampa next year.
no, it doesn't. But and this is okay. Look, I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave Tyler in the lobby. Hold on for a second here. Let me bring Tyler Brashaw in. Tyler, wake up.
What's up?
I'm gonna bring Tyler in here. How you doing tonight, Tyler?
I feel bad.
What's that?
I said I let Jacob down tonight. I got to sit here and face him. I feel bad.
No, it's okay.
Oh.
It's okay. It's okay. Do not worry about it. I promise.
Oh yeah, you couldn't be on the show. That's okay. He went ahead and upgraded, and I was on it.
I was actually planning on having both of you. I was going to do both of you at the same time. That was going to.
Oh, why? You just want to see us both cry on your show? That's what.
Yeah.
It was.
I was. Just, today's show was just me trashing the Bucks.
It was. It was.
I needed one of you on, if not both. If I could.
It was deserved. It was all good. It was all good.
Just this week.
Oh man.
So,
Tyler, before we get started, what'd you have for dinner?
Oh God, what was tonight? Oh, my wife made chicken
Come on this show and act surprised like you got asked that question. Oh, you caught me off guard.
I must have been thinking we were in the cheap seats tonight. We had chicken Alfredo tonight.
Chicken Alfredo, nice, very nice, yum.
My metabolism could never do that. Oh my God. Wait, Tyler, I wanted to ask you. So last time I was here with you, you mentioned a pizza competition between
oh yeah.
family. How did that end up going?
Yeah, I ended up making some sort of stuffed chicken. My daughter made a salad. My wife was the judge, and she called it a draw down the middle, and we all ended up going to get ice cream. That's how it ended.
Oh, that's a letdown. That's like kissing your sister, man. Don't ask how I know. No, that's awful. That is just, oh man.
That's how it ended.
Oh, is your daughter asleep?
She's asleep.
Yeah, that sucks. We would have declared her the victor. You're right. Yeah,
I will say though, my wife went back for seconds of the salad and not the chicken. So I don't know if that means anything.
You know what? Either way, your daughter wins.
Yeah.
Oh man. So here he says, I'm getting hungry again. I think I'm gonna order a Mike Allstott with a side of sap and hold the Nick Foles, please. Oh man. How many interceptions did Winston have at this point of the season? I think it was like 20 or something.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's a ridiculous number.
It was insane. It's just
God.
stupid. It really is just stupid. Jacob did say.
I want to explain this because I know what I meant.
I tried to let it go, man. I tried to let it slide. If you watched my face, it was like
I did, and I wanted to explain it. So what I meant by that was that you mentioned how it didn't look good on paper, but then it was really good. And when I said the reverse Cowboys, I meant that it was like the Cowboys always look good on paper and they can never produce.
Got it.
But it really came out horribly.
Wow, did that come? That just it went a whole different direction, and
that could have been worse if I tried.
And you're 16, so I'm not going to continue this part of the conversation. So,
oh boy.
So anyway, wow. Anyway, Tyler, thoughts on the game? You tell me your thoughts on this game.
All right. Oh no, we suck again. Isn't that what he said in
Oh no! We suck again.
Well, we abandoned the run again, and we now, coming into the game, we knew that was a losing formula, is abandoning the run, which we did again. I thought we played way too much zone defense and just let Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp find the soft spots of the zone, and we just never really came out of it. And then just bad play calling all around, both sides of the ball. Like the screen pass on fourth down to Chris Godwin, I thought was a terrible play call.
Or whatever that was, not a screen. I don't even know what you call that thing.
It was just like a weird out route.
1 yard. Yeah, it was. But he was sort of running a pick, but
yeah,
in like this completely
you have
cluster.
Isn't that what you brought Leonard Fournette in for? Is these power runs with 1 yard to go, or you have Tom Brady, who's probably picked up the most first downs doing this in a career.
Yes.
Like, just do it. And
yes, you brought Leonard Fournette in to do that, but nobody is using him like that, and that's the problem with this team.
We abandoned the run again. It felt like I was so fresh. I knew.
How could you abandon the run again, knowing what happened 2 games earlier? I'm at such a loss for words because of how ridiculous and horrible it is.
I told you guys a couple weeks ago that I wasn't worried about the talent on this team bouncing back. I'm worried about the coaching staff. That's what's going to hold this team down, and I'm still worried about the coaching staff.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I almost think I don't even want to say it, but I don't even have words. I'm ticked off. I'm ticked off.
Apparently, Tom has too much freedom in terms of deciding the plays or something.
And apparently apparently Tom Brady only wants to throw deep. Period.
I don't know. It's
according to Arians. Oh, we let Brady choose his plays. Well, if he's choosing this badly, don't let him choose the freaking plays.
This is my problem with this team. If I had won, obviously during the offseason, I was like, all right, this team's going to be really, really good. But the main problem is going to be they're in Tampa, right? They have Bruce Arians as their coach. And I had that feeling that it feels very like, I don't know, like free. Like doesn't feel like a very like strict thing. Like the fact that you're letting your quarterback call plays and then after just because he's Tom Brady. Is that what's going on?
Not just call them.
Like
apparently they're on the sideline before a drive and he chooses the plays on the sideline before the drive begins somehow.
Like that's like I don't understand that in the slightest. I don't think anybody else says either, but that's
what Arian said today.
There was a couple 3rd and shorts, like 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1. I remember it multiple times thinking to myself, why is there not a running back in the backfield to at least sell a run? Like we're 5 wide right now on 3rd and 2. You're just gonna
and they ran play action pass a number of times when they weren't running the ball.
Yeah.
Explain to me how that's supposed to work.
Yeah.
The answer is it's not.
It's not how that works.
It makes no sense at all. It makes no sense. Can you guys hang on for a second? I'm gonna bring up tonight's recipe for a cheesy taco skillet, and then we're gonna break for commercials, and we will be right back in just a moment to talk a little bit more about this debacle.
Going solar with 320 may cost you nothing down. But the work we do is not a $0 job. With a 10-year roof penetration warranty and solar panels guaranteed for 25 years, you can have peace of mind knowing we will do the job right every time without question. Solar. Power up.
Let's almost why. 'Cause I wanna let you feel strong.
A Super Bowl quality roster.
Tom Brady is expected to sign with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
All right, guys. Welcome back. Thanks for your patience, paying some bills. Welcome back to What's Cooking in the South. Hopefully we will have Harry will join us here. Hopefully we've got Jacob and we've got Tyler. So basically we've got a whole, it's a smart show tonight. And now we're going to add to it Mike. How you doing, Mike? So it's smart and Canadian.
There he is.
The Brisket King.
The brisket
King.
Not until you try it, brother. Once you try it, we need a report. Okay.
I'm on it.
All right. You've been assigned. You've been assigned.
That's
You've
my
got to
mission?
try brisket.
Okay.
I almost should say you can't come on the show until you have brisket, but you
What
know.
was for dinner, though?
What's that?
What was for dinner tonight, though?
Yeah.
Tonight it was chicken stir fry with rice.
Ooh, that's nice. That works.
Homemade.
That works.
Nothing but box. Homemade.
Yeah, I put up the I put up there real quickly the cheesy taco skillet recipe, and that's going to be on the Bucks Report Facebook story and also on the webpage. So you'll be able to get it in both places. Bless you.
And the eventual cookbook.
And the eventual cookbook, which that's kind of sort of breaking news here. But yes.
At Amazon?
Yeah, that's something that's going to happen. So anyway, that's on the docket. Tim Weatherspoon says this team is almost like a guy that gets a new truck and is scared to really use it to its potential because he doesn't want to scratch it. Won't let Antonio Brown return punts, afraid he'll get hurt. That's an awesome parallel.
You have Jaden Mickens. What do you need, Antonio Brown?
Yeah, but Mickens has been out under COVID. This is funny. Mickens has been out under COVID protocol for the last couple of weeks, and he posted on Instagram, "Dude, I'm not sick."
BA's full of BS.
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't think anybody here is going to want to argue with you today.
Yeah.
You know,
I just want him after one game to say, "Look, this one's on the coaching staff." That's he's driving me nuts with this.
He won't have
responsibility for anything. It's starting to drive everybody outside of this area.
I mean,
the coaching staff can see that it's the coaching staff.
Mike, what did you see? You tell us, Mike. What did you see from this game? You tell me your impression.
A lot of nothing, actually.
Great, wonderful. Thank you for that for that insight. Now, on to the weather. No,
well, Tyler said it best. That there was no running game, missed throws, bad defense.
I don't understand why. I still don't understand why we're sitting in this zone while we're getting no pressure to the quarterback. I don't know if Jared Goff's jersey got dirty, and we just let Cooper.
Listen, defensively, they stopped. They really did not do a terrible job stopping the Rams. They didn't. Okay, they did a terrible job tackling. If the tackling was good, it would have been an entirely different game.
I was just about to say Cooper Kupp might have had a career year in broken tackles in the first.
Yeah, they just all of a sudden, this team that's great at tackling all of a sudden couldn't tackle. And I got to tell you something. I'm going to say this, that this team showed the mentality when it changed its practice time. When this team said we have to practice later in the day, it said very clearly, if we keep practicing at a normal time, we can't beat you. And to me, that showed they were afraid that they couldn't win this game, so they were reaching for answers. And it conveys a terrible message that you feel like you can't win the game unless you're trying some new trick. And, you're searching for an answer. And what the heck? What kind of a message does that convey? That bugs the heck out of me.
Next week we got a 4:30 start. I think we're 2-1 in 4:30 starts.
Yeah, they're in a situation where they have to play well. They have to. I mean,
we're looking at this team's record based on what time they play.
Guys, if they lose this game, they're 7-5, and then you're teetering. You're grasping on the final playoff spot. That's not okay. Now, granted, you've got Atlanta twice coming up. I forgot who else they're playing at the end here.
Where was Shaq Barrett last night?
What's that?
Where was Shaq Barrett last night? He was pretty invincible.
Shaq Barrett? No, he was running around. You saw him. You saw him back there chasing Goff a little bit. I mean, Shaq was around. He was. Let me just say this: he was far more visible than Aaron Donald was. I mean, for everybody who rips on the offensive line, Aaron Donald was not on the stat sheet at all.
Are you guys going to pay Shaq Barrett?
No, not like he wants to be paid. No,
right. I figured.
No, not after. I mean, he had that great year.
Yeah,
but
I'd love to see the Jets throw not a ton of money, but
yeah, franchise tag will go on Chris Godwin, and they'll let Shaq Barrett walk, and then maybe try to steal a cheap year from Antonio Brown or something. I don't know what to.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, Shaq. I think Shaq was fine. I mean, I actually think he's one of the people who showed up.
How about Carlton Davis? He didn't do much last night.
What's that?
Davis didn't do much last night.
He got hurt, didn't he?
Carlton Davis?
He came back. Yeah. But I mean,
he came back. Okay, he got dinged up. I knew that.
Yeah, it still lingered. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was very frustrating for me.
Yeah. I don't know.
When Jordan Whitehead made that interception, I thought we were in the driver's seat. We get stalled for a field goal. And then the defense lets him march right down the field for a field goal. And Rick, I thought for sure it was coming down to a missed Matt Gay field goal, just like
So did I. I thought the same thing. And why would Varner be return the last punt anyway? He got blown up as always. Wouldn't you fair catch and run one more play? I don't think it mattered.
The Jets did that too, and it was literally the same play.
I think it was one of those, okay, if you have that one play, but you've got to get a 70-yard play versus a punt return, you probably got a better shot at the punt return.
Well, Tom Brady was throwing anything 70 yards.
Because you could at least throw it up in the air and hope for a pass interference or
that's
it's very unlikely, but I think it's more likely than
a punt return. I don't know. A 70-yard play, I don't know. Johnny Dean says Shaq was playing pass protection a ton. Yeah, Johnny, I think Shaq showed up. I think Shaq had a decent game. I mean, and just the fact that this offensive line, I mean, vaporized Aaron Donald to me is a pretty big deal.
2 years in a row.
Yeah, 2 years in a row. But I don't know. Mike, do you have you got anything you want to add or any questions for everybody?
I thought JPP played a good game last night.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
Oh yeah,
he almost had a second interception. I saw that. That would have been. Oh my! He has more. I reposted this on my my personal Instagram where he has more interceptions in his career with like a total of 6 fingers than Jamal Adams does in his entire career.
Yeah, he's working on more interceptions this year than he has fingers on it. Yeah. I mean that's what's that?
How old is he? JPP.
I don't know how old he is. He's old. But he's
getting up there in football age.
Yeah, but he's still playing at a very high level.
He might be playing the highest level of football he's played though.
I think he's him and Sue had a good game. I have no problem with the defense. People may argue. I mean, the tackling I do.
How-
Other than the tackling, I have no problem with the defense.
How's Steve McClendon doing over there in Tampa?
I have not really heard much from him.
He's getting used less. Nacho's getting used more. He's not getting used as much as he did those first couple weeks he was in here.
Right.
But
The rotation, I don't think, is happening as much. Now, oh my gosh, I'm going blank on the injury that doggone it, Jamel Dean got hurt.
was that a concussion? I haven't read up.
Yeah. What's that?
Was he concussed? Because
Yes.
I saw him like
Yeah, he was concussed.
something happened. Yeah.
Yeah, he was concussed.
It was on like a hitter. I saw the play. I don't know.
Yeah, and whoever came in for him played pretty well. I mean, look, the bottom line is this: this defense stepped up. This was not a loss that in any way, shape, or form you can put on the defense, even with the bad tackling. I mean, I really don't put this on the defense at all.
I told a friend of mine at halftime, I said if the Bucs hold the Rams to 10 points in the second half, they'll win this game.
And
what they did, I just didn't expect the Bucs to score 10 points in the half.
Well, and I want to point this out. Johnny Dean says, was that an amazing TD by Godwin or what? Was that an amazing TD by Mike Evans or what?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was an angry run right there.
Yeah, he went straight full on beast mode.
Oh, my
And
God.
That was the last time in the game they didn't see Jalen Ramsey line up with Mike Evans. Right?
Yeah.
Sean McVay sprinted down the sideline to try and call a timeout on that play, and he could not get it off. And he paid for it. He paid for it.
That was phenomenal. Mike, you got any other questions or anything?
Not really, no.
Not really? All right. Well, I mean, feel free to use your next call or whatever. Come on back in.
Okay, guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye. All right. That's just want to make sure we have room in case anybody else wants to come on in here.
Yeah,
guys,
sure.
I've posted the link. I'll do it again. If you want to make any calls, or you want to come in here, you can audio chat with us. You can video chat like Mike just did.
So
come
when
on in.
When we look at the playoff standings, say we lose next week, because I have a not good feeling, who will be in the last seed?
Okay, I know I'm here, but the uproar of the league, if you guys walk into the playoffs and lose to the New York Giants at MetLife Stadium, oh my God.
No, they wouldn't be lined up with the Giants. If they take the last playoff spot, they're going up against New Orleans in New Orleans.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
I think that's worse. I mean, I wouldn't want to. Okay.
Yeah, I don't either.
If they would have won last night, they'd be matched up with that fourth seed, which would be, well, the Eagles aren't winning that division. They have like the Seahawks, Cardinals.
My big bold prediction was that if and I'm going to stick with this because if I'm wrong, I'm going to sound so dumb, but if I'm right, I'm going to sound like a genius. And it's that I think that if the Giants make it into the playoffs, that they're going to win their first playoff game.
No, they are not.
I think they upset whatever team they end up playing.
No way.
I think so. I don't know why.
I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked. It's not like they're an easy. It's not like the Giants are an easy out. Look at what the Bucs struggled. They're not an easy out.
So the Bucs have the Chiefs, the Falcons twice, the Lions, and the Vikings left on the schedule.
You'll be okay.
God, yeah, we'll be fine.
You'll be okay.
We'll be fine. All right, even if they lose to the Chiefs, we'll be fine. Let's add Johnny Dean here. Let's add the professor to the stream. How you doing, brother?
How's it going, guys?
How do you think it's going? It's going crap. What'd you have for dinner?
What did I eat? I don't know. Probably grilled cheese sandwiches at the hospital or something.
Oh, you just called what's cooking in the South and you don't remember what you had for dinner? I don't care if it's Pop-Tarts. I hope all's going well there at the hospital. Hope she's doing well.
Yeah, she's a pain in the ass, always waiting.
Okay.
All right, man. We've already talked to death about this thing. I got a personal gripe about Simeon Rice, man. Did you see the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, we're shifting gears. Yeah, about the fact that it's Lynch and Barber.
Yeah, well, Simeon got nominated last year, and then his name just disappears again this year. And I'm telling you, man, the guy, he should be in there ahead of Lynch.
Oh,
right there with Barber. And I know that's going to catch a lot of grief, but I got the stats to show it, dude.
Well, okay.
I think whether you do have the stats or not, I still think the Hall of Fame is a popularity thing as well. So it's just not going to happen. I don't think. I think many more people know John Lynch than they know Simeon Rice.
And I also think Lynch was more of a leader on that defense, and Simeon Rice was a key part of that defense. And don't get me wrong, I believe he was a key part of that defense, but I think Lynch was more of a leader on the defense.
Well, come on. How many leaders were on the steel curtain?
No, listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you Simeon Rice is not a good player. Okay, I'm not going to do that. But I'm also not going to argue with it because we all know where that goes.
Well, I was trying to bring that to people's attention, man. But
yeah, I'm not I agree with you that Simeon is I think you're misunderstanding. Nobody's arguing with you and saying Simeon's not good. We just feel like Lynch had a more good.
I talked to Hall of Fame voters like Pat and stuff, and their argument is Warren Sapp. Okay.
Well, that's his argument, maybe.
Well, he used to sit right there in the room with them. They have those debates in the room to see who goes and who don't go.
No, I understand.
And that was the argument that's always brought up about Simeon, is because Warren Sapp. It's the same argument that's brought up about Rondé.
Right.
That they benefited from the team, the other players on the team like Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks. That's always their first argument.
I feel like that's everybody, though. All these great players you look at, like, I mean, I know it's early, but you look at Patrick Mahomes and you're like, he benefits from having Tyreek Hill on his team and having all these weapons and all that. And then on top of that, having Tyrann Mathieu on the defense and Frank Clark and just having Andy Reid as your coach. But I have no doubt Patrick Mahomes in his career is going to be a Hall of Famer. But you can't look back and say like, oh, well, he had Tyreek Hill and he had all these guys. So it's,
well, I think it'd be very difficult to get into the Hall of Fame without a supporting cast.
I think it's an interesting question. I think it's an interesting thing to say. And I don't know the answer to this, okay? I'm not stating this. I'm proposing this. I think if with the Buccaneers defense, say in the Super Bowl year or whatever, if you take John Lynch out of that equation, there's a bigger impact than if you take out Simeon Rice. Now, I'm not saying there's not a huge impact. Don't take it wrong. Don't run with that and say, you're saying Simeon made no impact. I'm not saying that. Okay. I'm saying which one do I believe was more important? The only reason I'm even comparing the two was you said, I think he should go in before Lynch. I don't think they have anything to do with each other.
I think we kind of had this conversation earlier in the year comparing Vita Vea and Antoine Winfield. Like, which one would you rather? I mean, neither one of them you want hurt, but which one do you want on the field more as rookies? And I mean,
Winfield, 100% right now. I mean, you look at that.
Vea is not a rookie.
I meant, which one would you rather have on the field? I don't know why I was thinking rookie.
Yeah.
I was thinking. Yeah.
Well, we're seeing the impact of not having Vea right now. So,
I mean, you're not giving up any rushing yards still, so I don't think
exactly.
Rushing yards isn't everything, dude.
No, I know, but
when you don't get, how many pressures are we getting on the quarterback? I mean, how many? When you take away that impact, it affects the secondary.
Agreed, but if the tackling was as secure as it had been
I've never seen that much bad tackling as I did yesterday.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That if they had tackled like they had the rest of the year, it would have been an entirely different kind of situation. They would not have had all those, third down conversions. They would have stopped them on a bunch of them. So to me, I don't, when I look at what happened yesterday, I don't put that on the defense at all. First of all, they were on the field a lot, and I put it on the offense. And there is no reason that an offense that has this level of talent should have this level of productivity. There's just no reason, especially when you're stopping Donald and you're stopping that defensive line to the extent that they did. Now, I know there were not a lot. There was only one sack, but they got some pressures. They put some hits. They got some hits on Brady. But there is no reason that there should not be better productivity from this offense.
I'm not commenting on any of that. I haven't looked at the game tape yet, so
I just don't think
I can't see where the gaps were at. I haven't seen where the gaps are at. I haven't seen who's missing the gaps. I haven't seen any of that stuff yet, so I cannot comment factually on that.
I just don't know how the team does. Like I said, I thought if they held the Rams to 10 points in the second half, there's no way I thought the Bucs were only going to come out and score 10 points in the second half, especially when you're a team playing a team that's not running the ball either. So it's not like the Rams were keeping the clock moving in terms of running the ball. They were throwing the ball and keeping the ball moving. But I just don't know how a team with this many weapons, and we hardly seen the tight ends involved yesterday either. That's another thing.
I get it, because that's how you stopped Aaron Donald and company.
Well, yeah,
because they were blocking. So
Yeah.
I get that the fact that, I mean,
I had
and
money on
Brait,
it.
by the way, Brait was pretty much involved, especially early.
Yeah, he caught a first down there, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I think he got 2 of them, and that was all in the first half. But I mean, you just can't throw deep all the time. I don't get it. I don't understand the refusal to run the ball, the refusal to run rub routes and crossing patterns and to use motion, and nobody's keeping them from using motion. 6 out of 67 plays they put a player in motion. All this speed on this team, and only 6 out of 67 plays did you put a player in motion. I mean,
sounds like an Adam Gase offense.
It just
no, like that's actually what he would do. Well, before we handed play calling over to our offensive coordinator, there was no motion anywhere the entire game. It was so predictable. It was so like everything
makes
about
no
it.
sense.
It was
makes
not.
no
Yeah,
sense.
it was bad. It was bad.
And then to not run the ball, and then try and run play action pass. What the heck are you doing? You know, I mean, I'm sorry, Johnny. I know you haven't gone back and watched the video, but
No, I saw the play action stuff, man. That was ridiculous.
yeah.
Well, why do you think it works so well in Minnesota and in Cleveland? And it's because they have dominant running backs and they run the ball a ton. So it's believable that they might actually run a stretch play and then let Baker throw a
Brady
7-yard pass downfield or Cousins. Like it makes no
2
sense. I
for
don't understand.
30, 2 for 30 over the last 2 games on passes over 20 yards.
Yeah.
Now the to me, the statistic that stands out is not the 2 for 30. It's 2 for 30. You've thrown 30 passes in the last 2 games over 20 yards. To me, that's freaking, I mean, what the heck?
This is an interesting stat from last night that doesn't have anything to do with the Bucs. I thought it was a very impressive stat that Sean McVay is now 32-0.
Oh yeah,
that's
makes
crazy.
me want to vomit.
He's such a good coach though. Like he's such like
2-0.
That's called adjusting, which is something that Bruce Arians could definitely take a little bit from, because I did not see you guys do one thing differently in that second half to try and stop anything that these receivers were doing.
They didn't do anything.
Receivers, there were 2. We got destroyed
Either of
by
them.
2 players.
Yeah, either of them though. Like he didn't stop either of them in the second half. Let alone like Robert Woods went off in the second half.
I saw Robert Woods truck Levante David.
What is the entire? I just don't. I don't know what the thinking is when it comes to. I mean, why would Arians in a press conference say, "Well, we let Brady choose his own plays on the sideline from the game plan"?
Lack of responsibility.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I hear is
I hear excuses. That's it.
Freaking own it. You know, you say I'm the head coach. It comes down to me. Don't say, well, it was Brady. I mean, own it.
Yeah, and I hate going back because like I just know obviously the most about my own team. Joe Douglas, we were 0-8. Joe Douglas went into his press conference and took accountability for every single thing that happened this season so far with the 0-8 team, even though it so clearly wasn't his fault, right? Like it was, and he didn't throw Adam Gase under the bus, didn't throw any of the players under the bus, didn't throw Darnold. It was all on Joe Douglas, is what he said.
Right.
And
Tom Brady is the quarterback. Okay.
Right.
The the head coach is Bruce Arians.
Yeah. If Brady wants to go out there and take accountability for himself, let him do that. But Bruce Arians should be out there being like, that was on me. That was on me. That was on me. And if every once in a while he was like, all right, well, Tom had an overthrow. Well, that's fine. But take accountability for every other thing that happened. Because guess what? 95% of it was your fault. So,
I mean, he can take accountability for that too, because like we've said, they've thrown him down the field for 30 times for over 20 yards.
Two times in 2 games, 30 times.
Maybe we shouldn't have made that play call there in the first place. Tom should know better not to throw that ball, but also we can't call that from the sideline as well. It's just like he's got a history of doing this with his teams, but it's almost like this team has too much talent and he doesn't want to be the reason to say, or he doesn't want people to look at him and be like,
is he scared of his job security at all?
Well, no. And if anybody's calling to replace the coach, whatever. I mean, there are going to be plenty of fans who do that because they're idiots, and that happens quickly. And everybody wants the second string quarterback in there. Everybody wants to fire the coach when they lose.
After next year, anyway, it's his third year of his contract. So
right. I mean, that's.
I just want to get to I want to know who is calling the plays on the sideline. Like,
yeah, that's what I want. I want to know.
I want to know.
He did let Ben Roethlisberger call plays on the sideline in Pittsburgh. That's a fact. It's
that has nothing. I don't care.
But you're right. Wait a minute. You're right. If it's not working, then Arians or Byron should say stop.
Yeah, right. That's my point. Who had
that last play going for the deep throw when he could have had a first down right there, or gotten field goal range and kicked a field goal? Come on, man! Quit trying to be the hero. Wait and take the chance with the coin flip.
I also wish the Bucs would do a little more up tempo stuff. I know it's tough, but you have so much talent. Make these defenses not have the chance to switch.
There is no reason the Bucs should not run up. I was thinking the same freaking thing, Tyler. That's you know what? Tyler gets the that's 2 weeks or 2 shows in a row. Tyler gets that. Hey, let me do this real quick. Hold on, guys, real quick. Jacob, I know you got to get out of here, Jacob.
Yeah.
Jacob, if you'll hop on here, just tell everybody where they can find you and where where everybody can see you're very cool, by the way. You're very cool show that I had the chance to be a guest on today and spend some time listening to and all that. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So check out the Hard Count Football Podcast on YouTube and SoundCloud, and then the Hard Count Football Podcast Live, which is Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern on the Hard Count Football YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitter at Jacob Charno, Instagram at Hard Count Football. Just football talk, a lot of fun stuff going on over there. And yeah, Rick, I always appreciate it. And I kind of want a sound. So I'm gonna throw it out there that I know I can get a sound for. And I'm sorry you guys lost on Monday Night Football.
There's also
good night, Jacob.
Something cool I saw about Jacob's show a couple weeks ago. I think I saw that he had Dean Blandino on there a couple weeks ago. I was curious how he pulled that off. That was pretty cool.
I don't know. You're the guy pulling Gronkowski's around here, so I don't know.
I'm gonna get them all in here next time. All 4.
Next time next time, what's cooking in the South? You can see. I just lost his name. Jaden Mickens' sister. No.
Get Arians in here. We're gonna get to the bottom of who's calling plays.
Get Jake Arians. That'd be good.
That's probably a little more possible. Yeah.
Yeah. But oh man, I mean, look. Here's the bottom line: the Bucs are 7-4. All right, it's not like they're bad, okay? But sometimes they. Let me rephrase that: the Buccaneers, when you look at the entire year, are not bad, but sometimes they are, and that's where the problem comes in. Is that every time a game starts, it's like, which team's going to show up? The team that refuses to run the ball or the team that's going to play balanced football?
So I think even if we lose next week, I can still see us finishing 11-5 because I think we're deep enough and have enough talent to beat the rest of the schedule.
Agreed.
Just with talent alone. So
agreed.
What's that?
Agreed. I agree.
Okay. I think even if we lose next week, which I don't have a good feeling about next week after this week, after seeing Goff throw.
Well, you can't have a good feeling. It doesn't mean they're not going to win, but you can't feel good about it.
Right. After seeing Goff throw for as many yards as he did, I hate to see what Patrick Mahomes is going to do. So even if we lose next week, I can still see 11-5, and I still think we're going to get that top wild card seed simply because the Rams still have the Seahawks once, the Cardinals twice. I know they have the Niners next week, so the Niners are pretty depleted by injuries, but they have a tough schedule coming up in comparison to ours. So I still see us getting that top seed and then going into probably. I mean, it could even be Dallas at this point. It could be any one of those teams in the NFC.
You couldn't be in a better position than to be the top wild card team. I'd rather be the top wild card than the number one seed.
Yeah. It's like I would rather be the top wild card team right now than the 2 seed and have to play the Rams. The Rams.
Yeah, I'd just be happy to see 10 wins and see the improvement.
I can't say that. I cannot say that. I think it's.
I started the season out before Brady was brought on, going 9-7. So,
yeah, and so you're telling me you were going 9-7 before Brady was brought on. Now you've added Brady, Fournette, McCoy, and Antonio Brown, and that's worth 1 win.
9-7 with who?
Brady should have been worth 4 wins. Should have been.
Right. So that would be 13.
Right.
And whatever. Not 10-6.
Quarterback to be.
What?
I said 9-7 with who before they brought Brady on? Who'd you expect the quarterback?
We thought Winston was still going to be here.
Okay, so you thought Winston was going 9-7 this year?
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it. They lost games last.
I think Tyler just had the right reaction. It was like,
Well, look at the improvement. Winston, we improved a game with Winston. Okay, I expected with the continuity, the practices, which we didn't get into that with the season. 2020, I'm about to put a black spot all over the calendar about that, but you know, I did move my pick with expecting to lose games we weren't going to lose or we shouldn't lose, and made it 11-5. But I had never thought this was a Super Bowl team. There is not enough depth. No way.
Yeah, I can't argue. I mean, I don't know.
We have some great starters on this team, but you go beyond the starters and there's a hell of a drop off, man.
But the thing is this: next year, if you draft all offensive linemen and defensive linemen,
yeah.
No, but if that happens, then the excuse is, well, they're rookies, so next year doesn't count.
No, I don't make excuses for that. I always had when Arian signed on, I said 3 years. I said it on Peter Blake's show 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I think I don't look at this team as a Super Bowl team right now, but I also don't look at the rest of the NFL outside of maybe a couple teams as a clear-cut favorite either. I think
you're right, Tyler. You're right. Not even the Steelers. And let me say this:
every team still looks vulnerable to me. Absolutely,
the Steelers look beatable, and the Giants look like they could win a game in the playoffs. I mean, it's a bizarre year. The Raiders, you know, the Bucs kicked the butt of the Raiders and the Packers, but the Raiders beat or almost beat the Chiefs. So I don't know. This is just one of those seasons. It's
every year to me, it feels like going into the baseball postseason. It's whoever gets hottest at the right time has the best chance. That's what I feel like about the NFL this year.
Yeah, Dylan. Whoa! Did y'all hear that? What the heck was that?
Have an explosion outside your house there, bud?
No, I'm not sure what. No, I don't know what happened. But the Bears are the only threat to knock us out right now, and they still have to play Green Bay twice. I think if we win 3 or 4 of the last 5, we will be in. I agree with that. Christopher Cole, Washington football team might win the East.
Well, the Eagles have the spot now, and they are not winning it. They have a horrible schedule coming.
It's like Logic caught COVID. I mean, just the way this year, I don't even know. I don't even know. Vikings, Lions, 49ers in the hunt, but unlikely.
Oh my.
Yeah. His response about Brady picking his own plays came as part of his answer to a question about was he happy with Byron's play calling. Yeah, well, okay.
That's still not
They're just not answering the question about who's really calling the plays. And Arians never just directly answers that question. I think the Colts will surprise everyone with a deep playoff run. I don't think anybody would be overly surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised. That's a good defensive.
Yeah. So
that
Tim,
definitely wouldn't surprise me at all.
yeah, I don't think that's going to surprise everyone at all. Thunder from down under. Yeah, I don't know what that sound was. That was weird. It seemed like it. I don't know.
It's
It was
2020
loud.
talking back to you, man.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. Anyway, who knows? Who knows?
I had. All right, you guys are going to call me crazy and stupid, but I don't care. I had.
Thank you for the permission.
The Rams even with the Bucks. I saw that as an even matchup that could go either way, and it was a 3-point game, so I was pretty close on that.
It was an even matchup, and I think if the tackling was better,
that's not the part you're going to call me stupid about.
Okay.
I have us beating the Chiefs. I've had it all along this season because they're vulnerable to a running game. If, and this is a huge if, the Bucks run the ball, they're going to win the game.
The Chiefs are vulnerable.
Did you just say if the Bucks run the ball, they're going to win the game?
Yeah. I said that's a big if.
You're throwing that out there like that. I've been screaming that for weeks.
I actually thought we could beat the Rams with a short intermediate passing game, but that short intermediate passing game turned into lobbing the ball down the field.
Throw a short intermediate passing game. That's exactly right. Can you believe, Johnny, 30 passes of 20 yards or more in the last 2 games?
The best pass of the night was the short pass that Tom Brady caught the deflection and then threw it to my that was the only
what? See, there's another. What was he thinking? Greatest quarterback ever. 22 years in the league, man.
I mean, I don't think it's one of those things that I think just happens. He doesn't really. How often does that happen? So I don't think he thinks about taking
twice
off.
This year, 4 fingers up, and that. How many times in a year have you ever seen Brady make a mistake like that?
I can't argue with what you're saying.
What's crazy is he could have thrown a pick right there, and they could have declined that for an interception. It would have been.
Yeah.
Now that would have been a Jameis move.
It's in the soil, man. They got to burn Raymond James and build a new stadium. That's what it is.
Well, it's coming.
But I mean, seriously, Tim says short to intermediate pass, 20 to 30 yard passes. No, like 6 to 10 to 12, 15 yard passes is where they should have been throwing the ball. I mean, I don't know what the deal is, but it's like they just don't have a crossing pattern in their repertoire.
When Tom first came here, we all said, look, the Patriots offense, it's boring to watch, but it wins football games. I thought that's kind of what we were getting. 6 to 7 yard slant routes. We're using the same playbook that Jameis used.
Yeah.
With a guy with a not as strong as arm as Jameis. That's what we're doing right now.
Well, this is, and it's not even that it's not as strong. It's just, look, the very first thing I have on my notes for today, the first line I have down is this, and this is for me to highlight it. And this, to me, I can sum up this game in this sentence. This offense is not designed for this quarterback. And that, to me, is the crux of everything we're seeing happen on Sundays.
Tom Brady has never been a throw it down the field kind of guy, except for maybe when he had Randy Moss. He just threw it up to him a little bit. But other than that, it's your crossing routes. It's your 6 yard slants. It's your rub routes that keep the clock moving. He chews up the clock to where you don't have the ball while still moving the chains. And that's how he beat you for 20 years in New England. Just do it. Run the football and throw for 5 to 8 yards.
That bunch play they use to keep trying to use it as a pick, that's got to stop, man. I've seen it twice, and neither time has it worked.
On a 1 yard, what I mean, did has Arians never spoken to Pete Carroll?
Here's another thing. Here's another thing that's driving me nuts. If we're gonna throw the ball to running backs, can we at least put LaShawn McCoy in there? Somebody that can catch the damn ball.
No, Fournette can catch the ball. Hold on. Fournette can catch the
Yeah,
ball.
Fournette can catch the ball.
He had a bad game, okay?
And
he dropped the
if
ball
we're
a couple of times.
And you got to have touches to get used to it too.
That's
And
exactly what I said, Johnny. I agree with you completely. If you don't put him in the game for 3 weeks in a row and then you throw him out there in a critical situation and the pass isn't perfect, yeah, he's not going to catch it.
And we saw McCoy in the game 4 straight games. He was nothing. He did nothing.
Yeah.
Well, I would love to see a running back catch the ball out of the backfield.
Yeah, that would have been nice last night, but it's so rare. I mean, and the running backs, you talk about cold, they're probably muscles are atrophying because they refuse to run the freaking ball.
Absolutely.
I mean,
and you can't take a guy and put him in the second half and throw the ball to him cold and then expect anything out of that. That's you got running backs are as a breed get better when they get the ball. The more they get the ball, the better they get.
And why? I just don't understand why they abandoned the run in the first half of the game. They were running the ball okay. They were doing okay.
Yes, they were.
The play that made me is the most angry all night is the 4th and 1, that route to Chris Godwin. Johnny Dean, I don't know if you saw that. I don't know why you wouldn't give the ball to Fournette and let him pound it between the tackles, or just have Tom Brady reach across the line.
I was yelling at my TV at that time.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense.
I mean, even if you're going to throw the ball, that's the pass play you chose. I mean,
I thought it was just going to be I'm going to run out here and I don't know. I thought he was going to try to run in. I don't know what it was. It was covered completely, man.
Yeah, I just don't know what they're thinking.
Mahomes wouldn't have been able to run into it, so I don't know what they were thinking.
I don't know.
Turned around and threw it back to the open man on the other side of the field, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any explanation. And you've got to give the offensive line credit for this game. You have to give them credit.
I give the defensive line credit because they used that hurry up offense so much that defense had to be battered.
You're talking about
that's what I want Tampa to start doing to defenses, not letting guys get off the field and let Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, and Chris Godwin and Gronk.
No, I'm saying the Bucs offense.
Oh yeah, I know what you're saying.
All I can say about that is they probably haven't had enough time to practice anything like that. That you got a playbook. You spend a whole year developing a playbook for a certain way to play, and then you get to the season, and boom, you got COVID, and then you got a new quarterback named Tom Brady that plays a completely different scheme. You don't have time to write a whole new playbook, but you do have time to add to the playbook, and that's what's confusing.
Well, I don't know. But some games they come out with a decent game plan, and then the next game they just.
Well, that I think is on matchups. Some teams fit that playbook, some don't.
You can't
and
break the record, the all-time NFL record for fewest rushes in a game. And then, I mean, there was nothing that was so spectacular, like it had never happened in the history of the league in that game, to cause that.
How many rushes did we have yesterday?
5?
17.
That was 5 the last time.
Yeah, it was 17.
17 carries. After Ronald Jones just had 200 yards.
Right. And they were not unsuccessful running. Now, again, you don't have to rush for 4 yards for it to be a successful run. Okay, a 0-yard run can be successful because that's what would have set up the play action pass, but instead they just ran the play action pass with never running. I mean,
we've had 2 combined games with 22 runs.
That's low for one game.
Toriel would be ecstatic.
We averaged 3 yards a play yesterday. Ronald Jones get that per carry, and we averaged that per play.
We had what? What'd you say?
We averaged 3.5 yards per play yesterday. Ronald Jones can do that by himself.
Right. What was the rushing? What were our rushing yards total?
Do you really want to know that?
Yeah.
42. 18 rushes, 42 yards.
18 rushes? Thought it was 17. Okay.
18 rushing attempts, 42 yards.
So you're at almost 3 yards a carry. Okay.
I mean, the rush defense yesterday was excellent. 1.9 a carry.
The rest, I mean, this is the thing. They would have stopped them on third down if they had tackled. The defense didn't.
What were the numbers again?
For us or for the
how many rushes? How many rushing yards?
For us, we had 42 rushing yards on 18 attempts. They had 37 on 20 attempts.
So that's 4.2 yards per carry.
No.
If you're bad at math.
Yeah, there's something wrong with the math there. Hold on.
They had 1.9 a carry. We had 2.3.
Okay, that's
yeah. That sounds more.
42.
Oh yeah, that sounds more like it. That sounds.
Are you saying combined?
No. I know your math. That math sounds better. I was like, there's no way it was 4 yards per carry. That math didn't make any sense. 18 times 4 is going to be a lot more than that. So, to me, the whole thing is, it's not one thing. It's not just the number of rushes. It's the number of rushes combined with the fact that you're still running play action pass, combined with no rub routes, no crossing patterns. You don't use motion. I mean, only 6 out of 67 plays did you use motion. That hurts my head. Okay. I mean, you don't use screens. You do nothing but throw medium to deep.
I get the screens with all the tight ends in there trying to block to keep Brady up. You can't throw screens without a tight end or blocking on the outside.
In this game, yes. But I'm talking like ever. I mean,
the Bucks are not a good screen team. They've never been, and I don't understand that either. It's different coaches all through the history, and none of them has ever been able to run a screen with this team.
I just don't even know that they try. And that I mean, you've got Tom Brady. A good coaching staff is going to position players for their success. And this
Arians
coaching
used
staff,
David Johnson in the screen a lot in Arizona. It was a very successful play for them. I don't understand where it went.
I don't know. I don't get it.
And a lot in the passing game and in screens in Arizona.
I don't get what's happening with this team. I just don't understand what's happening with this team.
David Johnson could also catch the ball. Maybe there's a little more trust there.
Tim Weatherspoon. It's a new hybrid play no action game.
Play no action. Thank you, Tim.
As Blake said,
I think
we haven't seen a game where Fournette gets enough touches to get going. The one game was in the fourth quarter of that first Panthers game. That long run. Yeah.
Well, I don't care if we give him enough touches. Give Ronald enough touches, because when we see him get touches, we see what he can do.
If you don't use the running backs in the running game, why would you think they'd use them in the passing game?
Who said that?
Tim Weatherspoon.
He's on fire tonight, man.
Yeah, he is. Tim and Dylan have been on their game tonight. Oh man, I'm baffled. I'm baffled. I'm frustrated.
I agree, Casey.
That's good to see this year coming together. We're actually a disciplined football team the last few weeks. We only had 2 penalties. There's one good takeaway, I guess.
Yeah, and
unfortunately, one was on Devin White
that's what I was about to bring up.
Which was a touchdown, but
yeah, that's what I was about to bring up. And I got to say this. This is starting to get to be more difficult to say.
RELAX.
Nah.
Relax. We're gonna be okay.
If they beat the Chiefs this week, I will be relaxed.
I'm getting nervous. I'm getting uncomfortable. It's getting to be difficult.
That's what NFL Sundays are about. You get to watch the other teams and relax a little bit, because you're not looking so bad when you compare it to others.
Yeah. My biggest problem is when the Bucks lose, especially like last night, I'm pissed off for the next 3 days. That's what bothers me. But
yeah,
I am still fairly relaxed, because I still think they're getting into the playoffs.
Once you told me who they're playing in the rest of their games after Kansas City, I feel a lot better.
Vikings.
Don't we have Minnesota on that list?
Yeah, that's what he said. He said Falcons
Minnesota,
twice,
Detroit.
Minnesota, and Detroit.
Yeah, don't get too excited about Minnesota. I'm going to count that one as a loss right there.
I'm not going to count it as a loss, but I'm not going to count it as a win. It's
terrible.
All of those games after Kansas City are very winnable, and they will be favored in every one of them.
The Vikings just lost to the Cowboys, so I'm marking that as a win for now.
Vikings have a pretty damn good defense. What's our record against good defenses?
What's our record? Listen, man, our record's not great against lots of things.
What's our record against no running games?
Yeah. What's our record when we don't run the ball?
Actually, Johnny Dean's right. The Vikings, that could be a tough game. They do have some good receivers. I mean, Thielen and the Jefferson kid is ridiculous.
Thielen's a beast, man.
Dalvin Cook. I mean, I know our run defense is great, but
I'm not worried about Dalvin Cook, and I know that everybody throws a fit when they say it, but I'm just not worried about anybody's running game. I've got other crap to worry about. That ain't it. I am far more worried about whether we're going to run the ball than whether they are.
Yeah, I agree.
I just don't want to see Levante David get trucked again, man. Please.
Yeah, well, you know what? He will probably not put himself in that position quite the same again.
Did anybody see a report on Shipley's injury? What was that?
Shipley? Oh, man. I do not know. It was minor. He's supposed to be playing, so.
Okay, good.
Because Donovan Smith went down. We saw him come back in. Shipley went down. I was like, here we go. Here we go. Tom's getting hurt.
I hope if Marpet's not back next week, we might not be seeing him again, because that injury, the after effects of what they're talking about, has put people out of the game more than once.
Yeah.
I think they're still talking about like blurred vision and lightheaded and
we might not see him
that's
anymore.
just like a normal Jameis Winston thing, isn't it? Winston plays like that all the time.
True. That is
blurred vision and lightheaded. Oh man, we never realized it. Winston just has concussion problems.
Was Winston throwing up on the sidelines too?
Yeah. No, that's Donovan McNabb. But
I forgot about that. That was his thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It actually all made sense with Winston this offseason when he went to get the LASIK. I'm like, oh, he was playing blind for 5 years. That's great. That explains a lot more now.
I don't think that had anything to do with it, and the fact that he
gets to the Saints and he gets benched for Trevor Siemian.
Yeah. Well, we still haven't heard about that yet, have we?
No.
About whether he's what position he is. I really want to see the depth chart, because
he's in school right now. He's writing down every play that the Bucs have in their roster for him.
For who?
For
the Saints?
Yeah, and then as soon as he's done with his playbook, then he can go somewhere else.
Well, yeah.
He's wondering why aren't you guys letting me see your playbook? I got to play, right? Peyton's going, no, I don't think so. Maybe the Panthers next year.
Yeah, he's going the opposite direction to me. I moved from Tampa to Atlanta to Charlotte, which, so now next is going to be New Orleans. Winston's going the opposite direction.
Yeah, that doesn't encourage me with the Falcons now. Oh, wait a minute! You didn't live in New Orleans, okay?
I'm saying I went from I went from Tampa to Atlanta to Charlotte, so next will be New Orleans. Winston went from Tampa to New Orleans. Next Winston will be in Charlotte, and then.
Well, we swept the Panthers, so thanks, Rick.
We are, as of right now, a 3.5-point underdog next week.
That's not bad.
That's Are you going to jump on that betting line?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Wow. Listen. I wouldn't bet on the Bucs next week, even 3.5 points. No.
If we don't run the ball,
I would not put money there.
See, that's the thing. If it wasn't for this game, I probably would have. Even if we'd lost this game, that was the lack of running after we've seen that formula works.
It's just amazing though. Now they'll
haven't
come
seen
out
the
and run the
tapes.
ball. Yeah, but watch. Now they'll come out and run the ball, and everybody will say, "Oh yeah, okay, the Bucks are back." And then the next game they'll just stop running.
And then
I
the
mean-
following week against the Vikings, they won't run the ball.
Right.
And it's twice now. You go for 200 yards and 120 something yards out of Rojo, and then the following weeks you don't give him the ball. It doesn't.
What the heck is with Arian's game plan of? I mean, he flat out stated that his general attitude is we want to be close, like within one score, going into the last drive of the game.
Tyler,
Yeah.
do you know the Vikings run defense is ranked?
Say that again.
Do you know what the Vikings run defense is ranked?
I don't know, but I can find out.
Yeah, look that up. But did you? I mean,
pretty
did you
good.
hear what I said, Johnny?
Yeah, I heard it.
AB stated he just wants the game to be within a touchdown at the end of the game. That's kind of his goal. I'd rather have the Belichick goal of we want to crush you, period. And I don't have anything more to say.
I think everybody secretly wants to crush their opponent, but they can't say that out
I don't know
loud.
that. Yeah, I just.
Oh, I think.
What's that?
I think you can say that out loud.
Yeah, so do I. But what is Minnesota's run defense? I don't know.
I'm looking here.
Yeah.
I know it's pretty good. I know their defense is pretty solid.
It is?
The rush defense, I believe, is.
I'm going to have to hook up with Blake and go over some tape. I got a feeling that the teams that we're screwing up with have great run defenses. I think it's a combination of their run defense and our weak O-line.
So I lied. They're giving up 122 yards a game.
Okay,
Yeah, that's why I was like, I don't
better.
think so. That's why I was like, I don't think they do. I think their defense is a problem. They lost a lot of people.
That
So,
sounds much better then.
yeah.
Who knows?
But the thing is, Johnny, it's not that we're struggling against these teams with a great run defense because they're stopping us. We're just not running the ball.
Yeah, that's what's frustrating.
Yeah.
You
They start
have
out
to
the game. They start out the Bears game. We ran the ball. What was? Is that the 5-time game? Or was
Yeah.
it the Saints?
No,
that was
Thursday night game.
it was the Saints. Was the 5 times game.
5 times. We run the ball 3 or 4 times, and then it's gone. Where'd it go? Hey,
Right.
hello.
Right.
And then I don't understand what's going on. There has to be a reason that they're saying, well, we can't run the ball. There has to be. And I got to go over this tape with Blake, man, to find out.
Not only are they
Somebody tell me.
not only are they not running the ball, they're not even putting a running back in the back.
In the backfield, yeah.
A little bit. So they're not
Right.
going to play
And unless they're going to do a play action pass.
They're not. They're not selling it by putting a running back in there. They're just going to set and.
How can you tell if the Bucks are going to run a play action pass? Well, is there
Well,
running
there's a
back in
running
the game? I just, it just ticks me off. It just ticks me off.
This is what comes with being Bucks fans, I guess. Right here, this is
Yeah.
it. Even when you think you're about to fly high through the season, your coaching staff says, "Look at this. We're just not going to use these running backs we have."
Everybody
Yeah.
wants to touch the ball. I don't know. I don't want to beat on Brady. I like the guy, man. But
Well, I don't feel like I don't want to be on Brady either at this point.
His overthrows and underthrows, he's been making a lot of passing mistakes, man. And
Yeah, but I believe we're running the wrong kind of offense for him. Now, whether it's him calling the play, if it's him choosing the plays, and this is what we're getting, they need to take that responsibility away from
I
him.
want to know. I want to know how many of those 9 interceptions are balls thrown 20 yards down the field or more. That's the stat I'd like to see.
well, that interception on the goal line, I don't want to talk about that.
Because I can think last week against the Saints, 2 of them were down the field.
Right.
Or 2 weeks ago against the Saints, 2 of them were down the field.
Right.
He didn't have one last week against the Panthers. What was the first interception yesterday?
Yeah, that's interesting. We'll have to try and look that up before the next show.
Because his second interception was the one down the field, and I don't remember the first interception for some reason.
Who caught that first interception? Was it a linebacker?
I can't.
No, it had to be behind the linebackers.
I can't.
That was a joke. That was a joke about Jameis. Okay.
I don't even remember the interception for some reason at all.
Oh, remember? It was more like a punt.
Now you're joining my club here. I don't.
Yeah, it was more like a
remember
punt. He just threw it, and there was nobody even around. There was just he threw it right to one of
Oh,
the.
that
Brand-
was the Evans one. That was the Evans one. I don't. That,
no,
that's
no,
another
no.
head
Well, it
scratcher,
may have
right?
been Evans, but Evans was nowhere on the screen. It was so far away.
Yeah.
Well, he tried hitting Chris Godwin over the middle on the slant route. It
Was it Godwin?
downfield.
Yeah, but he missed him by like 20 yards.
Yeah. So both of his interceptions yesterday were deep balls.
Yeah.
And both nowhere near the mark.
Right. And then the one time he was pretty much on the mark, AB didn't catch the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you gotta. I was looking at connections and getting used to route running, the routes and stuff, but that's not on the route, dude. That was nobody's 20 yards off friggin' route, dude.
No.
Just flat out didn't see him.
Yeah. No, but even if you didn't see him, what are you throwing it there for? Even if you thought there was no guy there, you're still missing every receiver by 20 yards.
Ed Reed and Ray Lewis used to talk about how to get to Brady and rattle him and get in his head. Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe they've rattled him and gotten his head, dude.
Yeah, I think we can talk about maybe it's this, maybe it's that all day
Well,
long.
it's a combination. It's not a cohesive unit yet.
Right.
I have not seen a single game. Even that win was not a cohesive win. The other week when we had that blowout, that wasn't cohesive. There was a lot of missed calls and missed plays in that game too.
Well, I think there always are. There always are. But to me, it's just if you don't run the ball, I mean, I'm gonna harp on it, and I'm just gonna keep coming back to it because everything stems from this. Your passing game stems from your running game, and you have to understand how reliant your passing is on your running game. So if you just throw out the running game and just stop running the ball and just refuse to run the ball, and then you go, why isn't the passing game working? It just makes no sense. Hold on, we got a caller calling in.
Uh-oh.
Hello, hey, this is Rick. Welcome to What's Cooking in the South. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, Rick, man, how you doing? It's Ron.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, man, I'm good. How you doing, Tyler and the professor, Johnny?
We're good, brother. How are we doing?
How's it going, man?
It's Ron. I'm a faithful listener and caller.
Yep.
On Pete's show quite a bit. I've talked to you. We've talked, Rick.
Yep.
On the show and on Messenger. I just I'm just listening to you guys, of course, and I think I'm also I guess empathetic, if you will, into all this as a fan, and but I'm frustrated at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I just don't understand. Ever since this game concluded, I've been hearing different people, share their opinions, and I think as fans, we all have our opinions and we all have our reasons to what we deem to be the issue with this team, and I think sometimes you want to try to make it as factual as possible, but I guess it's frustrating. I don't know what you guys think. What I see is that I hear all these things. With some people say it's Brady, it's abandoning the run. But I think what I just to give my own personal view and opinion is I just think that Arians and Leftwich there's some type of disconnect with this coaching staff. I mean, we are not using the talent and the traits and the strengths that this team has basically to our strengths.
Yeah,
I mean,
this is exactly what I said. Is a good coaching staff knows how to leverage the talents of the players, and they're not running an offense that plays to Brady's strengths.
Yeah, I think
absolutely. And the other thing and you guys can let me know, you can interject, let me know what you think, Tyler, Johnny, but what's frustrating to me is amongst all is when I hear everybody talk, we tend to soak it all in and we tend to kind of join in and jump off one another. But here's the thing. We can say what we want, but what I'm frustrated about is that you have all this talent. I mean, you really do. I mean, nobody can logically say that, well, you're saying it's talent. I mean, there's talent all over the place. I mean, this defense is kept intact. We have offensive weapons that was added. I mean, we have Tom Brady, but it's just like what I don't get is this is 4 straight. You can live with it if it was certainly once, twice. You could live with that. You could say, okay, well, it was the way that we matched up. If we just didn't execute here, I mean, this is 4 night games that this has occurred. I don't understand what is it with this team that, number one, when night games, they're just not good. They just don't come out ready to play. You can't get yourself up ready to play. And then it's like 2. Well, the other frustrating thing is now when it seems like when we play teams that are formidable, we can't do it. So, like, I mean, who have we beat? I mean, I'm
The Packers.
I'm not trying to be pessimistic here.
Raiders.
I'm a Bucs fan. I'm a Tampa native, born and raised. I love the Bucs from day one. But who have we really beat? Like,
Packers.
When I was arguing with a friend, well, not arguing, but discussing this with a friend, a close friend of mine, he's like, well, bro, it doesn't matter. They have to play their schedule. We have to play with someone's schedule. But it's like,
Ron.
who have we beat?
Ron.
The Packers. Okay, great game. Awesome game. You can make an argument for the Raiders of being a formidable opponent because they have the ability to beat anyone. But I mean, we could argue about that, but it's just I don't understand. Like, whenever the lights come on, whenever we're put on center stage, this team doesn't deliver, and it's concerning with all this talent that we have. So it lends you to believe, what is it then?
Well, and what bothers me,
I don't know.
what bothers me is I believe that for some reason we coach differently in these primetime games, where I almost feel like they're trying to be showmen, like they're going to throw deep constantly because it's prime time.
It's the exciting play. It's what
right.
That's been a thing for every coaching staff the Bucs have ever had. It's not Dungy. Dungy didn't win any primetime games.
Yeah, no, you're right.
The first primetime game was one under Gruden, and he lost a couple of those.
Yeah,
it's all coach. It still all comes back to coaching for me. Even these night game losses, it's preparation, it's game plan. It's just something doesn't. There's something.
Well, you guys heard me say what I thought about practicing at night, and I know some people in the chat room disagreed with me, and.
I agree with what you said, Rick, because I good teams should not have to do that. But I don't think they had anything to lose by going and trying to do something different.
They conveyed a message. Yeah, they conveyed a message of we have to do something if we're going to win. Ron, I got to ask you a question before we go any further. This is very, very important. What'd you have for dinner?
What did I have for dinner?
Yeah, you're on What's Cooking in the South, brother.
Yeah, brother. Well, you got to remember, too, I'm still overseas. I actually will be back in Tampa home soon.
Oh, welcome. Where are you?
I had some ravioli earlier. I'm in Okinawa, Japan right now.
And what are you doing there?
I'm a contractor works for the Marine Corps.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. He's like, I can't tell you. If I told you, I'd have to kill you.
That's not salty, Buck.
Well, thank you for your service, brother.
What'd you say, Johnny?
I thought he said he was a contractor over
in service guy, but I guess sometimes it helps to have that affiliation. I've been actually overseas quite a bit since about 2015. It's into government contract.
Okay.
But,
okay, Ron.
Yeah, I'll be.
Yeah, it's Ron. It's Ron Buck Fanatic.
Coming back home.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm glad. I appreciate the fact that you've you messaged me today, and you tuned into the show, and I appreciate that. And I mean, it's people like you are what you're really what makes this fun.
It's good to get a knowledge.
It's great. It's great watching all you guys. I look forward to it, and I always know that we're all going to join in, and cumulatively, and as fans, we all kind of feel, and I guess, and join in on all the frustration. And it's always a great thing when these games end to know that you're going to be on the floor after, and you provide a platform like no other for fans to actually, get together and talk about this, and it's different. If you're talking like some of the radio stuff, like the WDAE, I listen to that program sometimes. I do like T-Craft,
right,
stuff like that. But let's face it, like these platforms are so much better because it's more genuine. It's more hometown type. You can. It's a broader, much broader platform, and there's nothing like it. I mean, and your guys' show between Blake, yourself, and Pete, and like it's awesome, man. It really is. It takes being a Bucks fan to another level. Like I said,
right.
I don't know, guys. Just getting back to this whole thing, it's tough because, like I said, that's the frustrating thing. I don't know what it is with the team that they just can't get themselves up. I don't know if it's like mentally or between that and the coaching. And this is the fourth primetime game. I mean, it's concerning because people say that they think they're going to make the playoffs, and then I know I'm always, sometimes it's like you don't want to be the pessimist, but at the same time, I try to look at it as like, well, you can also being a realist based on what I'm seeing is it's like it's tough to just go out on a limb and say this team is a playoff team because you could go off the talent that they're certainly capable of it, and I think that's what you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I know. I think we all understand exactly what you're saying.
Absolutely, it's very frustrating. I'm just glad to know that somebody woke up in Japan today and felt as miserable as I did. That really.
I know. Every time I call, sometimes too, Pete. That's always the slogan. We thank Ron for his service to our country, and it's like, yeah, that was about 16 or 7 years ago. Well, actually, no. The second time I deployed was about 10 years ago. But it's like sometimes I want to say, hey, Pete, I'm not in anymore. I'm a former, but I kind of get what he's saying. I'm just a contractor,
Well, you're
with them, but like,
well, there's all kinds of different contractors, brother.
Just to hear
you're still
representing to hear that back home. I guess the respect and the homage to.
Yeah. Well, listen, Ron, and your question. Yeah, Ron, your question to me today on Facebook about do I attribute this to coaching? Yes, 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 yes. Now, I don't want to be ambiguous, so I'm going to say yes. Okay? I mean, I don't know how to be more clear about what I put this loss on. It's the same thing I put the loss on against the Saints. It's the same thing I put the loss on, or the near loss to the Giants.
There's been questionable wins on this team this year where I'm like
the Giants. I just brought it up.
Yeah, there's been questionable wins on this team this year where I'm kind of still like, what is this coaching staff doing?
Yeah.
There's been games where I felt like we've been out coached, but we just won off pure talent alone.
Yeah.
Which is what I think is going to happen down the stretch and why I still think we're going to be a playoff team. But nothing has changed about this coaching staff that's given me any sort of secure feeling. It's tough to watch. It really is.
Yeah, it's
I got an article. I'll put it up later, but I got an article out. I didn't write it. It's from 2012. It's from the Steelers losing their minds over Ben Roethlisberger. Man, you guys check that out.
About calling plays?
2-12 season.
Is it about calling plays or having his own play scheme?
Oh yeah, they were wanting to run Tomlin out of town. Oh my God, it was bad.
Well, I mean, but what do you think? I mean, Johnny, you're not making any comments about the coaching staff. What do you think?
Well, it is what it is, man. It's time. I give them time, dude. I didn't look at this game. I did, but didn't. I am a fan. Okay, I'm a Buccaneers fan, but I'm almost 60 years old. I was a football fan before the Bucs were a team. Okay,
sure.
And I am a football fan. I watch every game. I've always got all the games up on the TV, and I see the similarities in every team. And it's not a big deal to me if you lose a game by 3 points on a Monday night. especially with an evenly matched team. It's not a huge deal.
Well, it is if you should win it.
If I was just looking at it from a fan perspective, I would be livid, but I can't do that anymore. I have heart problems. I can't do that anymore.
It wouldn't have been a big deal if they would have used the right game plan. It's a big deal because they didn't run the ball. They didn't do what has wanted.
Right.
And I see that every week in other teams. And it's just football.
No, Johnny. Here's the thing, Johnny. You don't see it every week. As a matter of fact, hold on. This team went to such an extreme. They broke the NFL record for all time on not running the ball. So this is not
every week.
This is not something that like, okay, yeah, this happens regularly with other teams. I get your
point, Rick. I get your point, man.
Right. Well, okay. But I mean,
my point was you see screw-ups every week with teams, and teams are breaking records every week for things that are bad. Teams are breaking records every week for things that are good. It balances out. We were competitive, okay?
Interject, Johnny.
Go ahead.
But if I could say something, Johnny, if you could look at and it's not just for Johnny, it's for all you guys, and I share all your opinion, but I mean, look at the Chiefs. They're human as well, but you don't see them losing games that they could have lost because they execute when the time is right, and they take those talents that they do have, and they care to carry them over the top, like the Raiders.
Right.
I was just mentioning it were formidable. Had them in their grasp, and they lost on that last drive, and we all kind of had to know that maybe Mahomes was going to deliver. Now we don't know. It's sad to say we don't know if we would have delivered. I mean, we had Brady. We had a chance yesterday, and it didn't happen. What happens? Throws a pick. It didn't need to be thrown. I just don't.
That's the part of football. That's the part of any given Sunday for me. Yeah, I do get into the X's and O's, and I haven't done that yet. I enjoyed that game the other day because it was probably the best game of the week, aired on TV. Yep. It was.
Here's where I think the problem comes in. It's one thing to say, okay, a team will break a record here or a team will break a record there for doing something bad. But the problem is when you continue to make the same mistakes and do the same things wrong week after week, and it's consistent and it's obvious that this particular thing is a problem, and then you just keep going back to that well again and again and again, that's a problem. That's not
it's nearly as big a problem as the Dallas Cowboys have right now.
Well, okay, but that's not the benchmark I'm going by.
But that's I'm giving you a platform where you can look at it and say, okay, we aren't that bad. You understand?
No, right, but that's not.
And they have and talk about talent on a team. They're supposed to have the most talent on any team in the NFL, right? Right.
That's just because they have the star on the helmet, but I think everybody would tell you that the Buccaneers have the most talent. I don't think that this year they're saying the Cowboys have more talent than the Bucs.
I think Johnny a little bit ago said he still thinks it's in time. I think what hurts part of this team is they still didn't have this training camp. They still didn't have an offseason to work together. They didn't have preseason football. But I still think that's a little bit of a problem. But that has nothing to do with the game plan the coaches are putting together.
Well, I get that. I sat right here agreeing with all that tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not gonna like my mind complaining about
this team. It's not the players, because I still think the players can gel together even more, but it's the coaching staff is where I have a problem.
Well, there's poor execution too, but you can also put that on coaching too.
Yeah. That's what I've been saying for the past, month now, that the coaching staff is what
do you guys
bury this team if it is buried.
Well, what do you guys think this is, though? If we're talking about coaching, though, and you see all the experience that Arians has, and we know he's mentioned there's no risk it, no biscuit. I mean, if you said, hey, he's using that style of offense, like that deep threat of these big plays, take them when you can get them. But it's like if we didn't have the weapons for us to be able to execute that style of, I could say, hey, we can sort of see an issue or a potential pattern, but it's like we have that. We have these weapons that. So I don't know. Sometimes I just almost see it as like Arians is hot and cold. You'll listen to him talk. 1 week he'll kind of subtly say, or he'll say, "Hey, that's on me," and then another week he's blaming maybe another player or something. And to me, it's like I don't know.
Has he ever said that it's on him?
It's always a tough thing.
I never hear him say that it's on him.
Ron, the problem is too many guys have their hand in the pot. They have too many. Bruce Arians gets his say. Byron Leftwich gets his say. Tom Brady, what seems like, gets the final say. One guy needs to have the play. One guy needs to make the call. Everybody. That's how you get everybody on the same page. That's how you're going to get these guys.
And if that guy's not doing a good job, let's say it's Brady right now. If that guy's not doing doing a good job, you remove that responsibility.
This comment might make you happy or sad. I don't know what it is, but
What do you guys think?
Here's what I honestly think.
Do you think that Arians is?
I think Arians is retired. He took this job to use it as a platform for the coaches that he wanted to give a chance. I think that Arians signed a 3-year contract, which head coaches don't sign 3-year contracts. They want a job, right?
So I mean, you could look at it that way.
Hold on. Ron's trying to talk, and there's a delay because he's over there. So let's give him a second. Ron, what were you trying to say?
No, I understand. No, it's probably a slight delay, but I understand. We all got to kind of contribute to this and give our opinions. What I was just saying is, I was trying to just, and I appreciate it. No, I just, what I was saying to Johnny, I was trying to ask him, so what do you think, that Arians, do you think he's the one that has a say-so to a sense, or is he giving the reins to Leftwich? Because to me, if that's the case, I guess that could be good, but to me, that I could see where it's be more of a detriment, because they're getting away from, what was it, guys? Do you remember, was it the first half, the second half? Well, I remember it was a drive where they were running Rojo. He was kind of running around. It wasn't straight through the tackles, but it was he kind of got around the corner, and we had some continuity there. And I want to say that was a drive, and we had some production. It almost seems like they abandon it, or they don't stay consistent.
No,
what was working, when the game. Yeah,
you're absolutely right about it, and that's what I said earlier. There's even in the fourth quarter, after the interception, when we drove down, got the field goal to tie it up, I believe it was. I think it was a field goal, might have been a touchdown. But in the fourth quarter, we ran the ball, and we did it for one drive. It was successful. I remember there were 3 straight running plays, and we got a first down out of that, and then never again.
I want to say something about what Johnny Dean said. If Arians is using this as a platform to get Byron Leftwich's next job, or Todd Bowles' next job, Byron Leftwich, based off these last 4 weeks, is not getting a next job. Guys are not going to look at it and be like, okay, he ran the ball 5 times.
We got to hire that guy.
Right. I agree with that, but that's what I think this is, because I think Arians came here and first point to save Rich's job. I mean, Jason's job, because he was on the firing line. Remember, Jason Light?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Arians saved his job.
Yep.
And then
I gotta agree with that.
He saved, and then he brought his guys, Todd Bowles, and there's more on that staff that are looking to advance. That's why he brought in such a large staff.
Right.
He brought Todd Bowles and Byron in, because Byron crapped the bed in Arizona. And he's trying to give Byron a second chance to get back up there, and he's using this as a platform to launch them careers. What is a head coach most famous for when they're retired? Their coaching tree.
Their legacy.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. It's something you can definitely look at.
All I know is,
I don't know. Would you?
If that's his real concern, then you know what? If he wants the other guys to get the main position, he's not willing to be the head coach and take ultimate responsibility. If he's not willing to do that, okay, buddy, let's give one of your boys the job.
Yes, I agree.
And I guess
we got 1 year to deal with this, so it's either going to be then we can talk about
service to the team and to yourself.
Right, exactly, Ron.
And I guess it makes sense.
That's why I don't know why Bruce seems too smart to do that. I don't know.
I think he has more faith in his.
I don't dislike Arians. Of course, I think we were all ecstatic when we knew he came here.
Right.
And he had some success with other, with the Cardinals and hell, he was a QB whisperer. He coached and saw what he did in Indianapolis, stepping in for Pagano, working with a good squad in Pittsburgh, and I'm sure the list, I'm probably missing a couple. And of course, he came from the Temple program, and he played himself. I mean, there's a great feeling about Bruce that it's hard to explain sometimes. And that's what I think that's what's blowing our mind too. We're sharing all these thoughts, and it's like there's that unknown. There's that lack of transparency that we don't know. It's like, how involved is he? But I don't think what Johnny said is a far-fetched thing. I mean, it very well could be true, but I'm saying if you are doing that, then you are doing this team, to me, a disservice.
I agree.
And also, like, hey, you stepped in there, you took the position. So what's that say for yourself? You didn't come here to lose. You didn't come here to not be successful, and then start piling all these, free agents in there,
right?
Putting the defense together, drafting Winfield. I don't know, man.
Well, I don't believe he came here to lose either. I believe he came here thinking
hell no.
He had more faith in his guys than they're showing him. He had faith in Bowles.
Yeah.
And then Bowles went to the Jets, crapped the bed, and then Bruce says, well, I'll help you out. And then same with Byron Leftwich, I'll help you out. Look, I got this job offer. Come with me, and we'll see what we can do. I'll let you guys take the reins and see if you can handle this.
Yeah.
Because like Dylan Casey says in the chat, Arians has always been known as a great play caller.
Right.
Always has. This isn't his style.
But for his health, he decided to take back. He said for his health, he was not going to be the play caller. Well, let me tell you something. He's killing mine.
It's showing with that yellow shirt on there, bud. Have you been taking some
I
of
don't know, man. It's a head scratcher. It's a head swimmer because it's like, I don't know. I mean, you see, I don't. Now going back to Bowles and Johnny Travis, and Rick, you let me know what you think. I like Bowles. There's something about Bowles too that I like. It's almost like a tough sophistication about him.
Yeah, I don't want him to be the head coach though.
He played for the Redskins.
Yeah, I don't want him to be the head coach though.
I think he's
great.
I
don't know. Didn't he have a tough defense with the Jets? I think as a defensive person, I really like Bowles. Look at what we saw like going back some weeks ago. This team was nasty.
No, defensively, I really like him. Yes, but what happened in the Saints game when it was all of a sudden completely abandon the blitz and play off the ball, even when it's 3rd and 3, let's play 14 yards off the ball. It was going back to Lovie Smith.
Right, and that's what I don't understand. As much as it's almost like these guys have all this ability, they have all the time and tenure. And like I said, Bowles, look at our defense, the way it was.
I'm the same way.
Then they get away from it.
Yeah,
they get away from
it. With Todd Bowles,
it's just lack of consistency, and then we try to.
Yeah, well, what were you saying, Tyler?
I was just going to say I'm the same way with Todd Bowles. I like him a lot. I think he's a genius defensively, but there's just guys in this league, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, Rick, that are good coordinators, and that's all they're good at. I mean, we talked about it with Chuck Pagano and the Broncos. He was not Chuck Pagano, Vic Fangio at the Broncos.
No, and who was the other guy with the Broncos? I forgot him again already.
Josh.
No, Wade. Wade Phillips.
Wade Phillips. Yeah.
Wade Phillips.
But Vic Fangio's Bears defense was excellent. He goes to Denver, and they're the worst team in the league. There's just guys that can't handle the
Yeah. I just don't want to. I don't want him to. I want him to stay. I want him to stay a defensive coordinator. I really do.
Yeah, I do not want Todd Bowles running the ship.
Right. I'd actually rather, and I'm saying, please, nobody take this too seriously, okay? I'd rather have Raheem be the head coach and Bowles be the defensive coordinator.
I don't have a problem with Raheem as a 1-year head coach.
Yeah. I don't.
I want Greg Schiano back.
Yeah.
I want Greg Schiano's defensive scheme without Greg Schiano.
Somebody dig up Richard Williamson, would you?
God.
Oh God, Lehman Bennett.
There you go.
I'm not dirtying my shovel.
Ray Perkins.
You're not dirtying your shovel. Ray Perkins. I'll dirty my shovel. I'll put more dirt on top of that guy.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, guys.
Man.
I think it was Fuller that got those interceptions.
It's
Whoever-
12:30. It
whoever
is
did that.
12:30. Let's call this a night, guys.
All right.
Yes, please.
All right, everybody. Have a great night. Tyler, well, Ron, thank you for calling in, and I really hope you will do it again in the future.
Absolutely, man.
Have,
Great
have
call,
a great
Ron.
night. Johnny, you wanna go ahead and point anybody in whatever direction you would like?
No, I'm good today.
Good. All right, have a good night.
Later, man.
Johnny said
Wow.
Johnny said it's too late. Let me get the hell out of here.
Yeah, it's my brain's not functioning at this point. Okay, you want to point everybody in your direction, Tyler?
Just follow me at Twitter, Brashaw2, or Tyler Brashaw on Facebook. Reach out. We can talk anything, any sport you guys are looking to talk. Most of it, I feel like I'm pretty knowledgeable with. So reach out and we can chat a little bit. That's all I've got for tonight. It's late.
Yeah, yes, it is.
It's later there than it is here. So you got to get out of here, Rick.
Yeah, I got to get out of here. I got to work tomorrow. All right, brother. Have a good night.
Man, we'll talk to you later, man.
Yep. All right, everybody. Thank you for tonight, and I appreciate you guys hanging around. Those of you who are still here and enjoying what's cooking in the South. And I promise you, next time this game is over, no more talking about this game. Well, of course we will, but we will move on to the Chiefs because that's a pretty big game. There's a lot to talk about, and we'll see how that goes. So I'm looking forward to talking to you guys. We'll be back on Thursday night. Yeah, that's right. A special Thanksgiving edition of What's Cooking in the South, and I will have a very special Thanksgiving surprise for you. And we will talk then. Have a great night. Thank you for tuning in to What's Cooking in the South here on Bucks Report. Check out that recipe. Don't forget, go to the story on the Bucks Report Facebook page and get that recipe.
This could be us, but you haven't called. Call 1-833-77-SOLAR right now and join the 320 Solar Happy Customers Club. For $0 down and no payments until 2022, we'll put the power back in your hands. 320 Solar. Power up.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Just because I let it slide doesn't mean it isn't pulling on my heart till it's almost white. 'Cause I wanna let you feel strong.